people just don't do whatever it takes because they haven't fully taken on the ownership of this is my problem.
Ensuring that your team is filled up every day. As an owner, that is one of the main responsibilities.
What you need to do is figure out how to actually run a fucking business and drive demand. Just pick up your phone, call people. Earlier this year, we started an outbounding campaign, and we really didn't know where to begin. So we were using dialing on the phones, we were sending text messages, we were trying emails, tried a couple different softwares, and ultimately we ended up with Hatch. Hatch has been an awesome partner for us. We started with them about 5 or 6 months ago, and we've just continued to ramp. Every month we add 3 or 4 more automations. And my personal favorite thing about working with Hatch is Hatch comes out of the box ready to go. With Hatch, you get automated multi-touch outreach across text, voicemail drop, email, and a ton more. So every single lead that you have gets worked. Every invoice that you leave gets retouched and rehashed. And it's freaking awesome. Check out usehatchapp.com/OAO.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
We're here.
Yeah. All right. So we're early on in March. What is your plan for March?
Not to fail. And by that, I mean exactly how that sounds is I will go out there and knock doors to fill up schedule if I have to, because we're not going to fail. And as you and everybody else have heard, my ships are burned. So we're not going to fail. Is that a good strategy?
I guess that's a good strategy.
Don't suck in March.
We started off this month. Last time we talked a lot about our inside sales strategy. So we started off this month, like usually we enter code Icy Blue, which means that we broke our break even for the month and we're officially net profitable. We usually try to cross that on the 15th working day of the month, but 15th working day.
Oh, okay. So really more like the 20th.
So yeah, usually the last week we start ripping. Anyways, so this month we started ripping just like from the get-go. Day 1, March 1st, we are in code Icy Blue. And what that means, sell everything that moves, basically. And so because of that, we've been, we're only 3 days in, but good momentum for the start of the month. We've sold, roughly to budget every day. We'll sell to budget this day. So that's our plan for March is off the rip discounts. Yeah. Take a gross margin concession basically, in order to continue pushing as long as gross margin doesn't go below, too low.
Yeah. I mean, after the last episode, I just sent my HR person a notification to post for
strongly worded
sales.
Email.
We need to
strongly worded
inside sales ASAP. Get the post up on LinkedIn now. So we'll see how that goes. That's definitely part of the plan. I think that you're right though. The plan is we also followed up by sending out a starting off March follow-up. What do they call it? ServiceTitan has the estimate follow-up email thing that they send out.
Sure, yeah.
And then we have just been slamming down outbounds to do maintenances. Any maintenance we can get on the board right now is a win.
Yeah.
So we did pretty good today. We've sold, it's 2:00 here, and we've sold 2 duct cleanings already. No units, unfortunately, and some bunch of plumbing. So we're really, really excited because those duct cleanings, they're not like the best thing in the world, but they keep installers busy and they, all we're paying is labor. So it's not like they're really high margin.
Yeah. I think, a good use of today, what we spent the last episode on was what to do when install is slow and like controlling costs and how to prepare your installers for the slow season. We've spent a ton of time over the lifetime of this show talking about how to keep your service guys busy, but I think it's worth another chat.
Ready, let's do it.
Yeah, one of the things that was kind of shocking to me over the past week or so, like it's March, right? 60 degrees in HVAC. Now, in all of our trades, we tend to get slow in February, March, April. And historically, we have done some type of layoff. Even as recently as last year, we laid off 6 people in electric and maybe 1 or 2 in plumbing. So we've almost always been a layoff once a year type of company. This is the first year we haven't even thought about it very much. But I also think we are like much more developed in our approach to filling the board. But one of the things that was shocking about, like, I logged into LinkedIn yesterday or today or something, and just like, man, there's a lot of big companies that are just like not putting anything on the board. Like, we've got guys starting to come in. I don't remember being in a moment in my career where we had a bunch of walk-in applicants, and we've had a lot of walk-in applicants.
Oh, no way. Like, people just showing up and like, hey, you guys have anything?
Yes. Like, yeah. Like, hey, I went to my place today. They had nothing for me. They haven't had anything for a week. Are you guys hiring?
Ouch.
Like 5 last week.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That is wild.
Totally crazy. So we're seeing a lot of HVAC installers. We're seeing some HVAC service guys. Saw some plumbers the other day. A couple people in excavation. Yeah, really interesting. But yeah, what we're finding is like a lot of these companies, they are just like, they've been sitting their service guys for like 2 weeks, which is a long time.
Yeah.
Like, our service guys get a little bit antsy if we sit them for like an hour. You know, if they're going home an hour or two early, they're like, man, what the heck? And like, these guys are sitting for 2 weeks.
That would kill me. I take that so personally. Like, not having the board filled is my personal, like, go-to.
And that was the message on LinkedIn too, in these companies' defense, is they're like, dude, I'm really like, these people trust me, and like, we're not doing it right now. Yeah. So I think what would be helpful is here's what to do in shoulder season. Some of it you can do now, and some of it you should have done 6 months ago.
Yeah. I mean, I'll start because mine's a little less sophisticated than you. So in our shoulder season, the main thing we start doing is outbounding. It is a heavy outbound, 2 people, full time. And our 6 months ago, like you mentioned, and like I mentioned before, that's all we do the rest of the week or rest of the year is collect phone numbers on every instance we can, at every place, every TikTok lead that comes in, every thumbtack lead. We have their phone number, we save their phone number, and then we reach out to them again. We have our members who we reach out to for their service until we knock all those membership maintenances out on both sides. We have our warm leads, which are, hey, you know, that they use us, but maybe not for all services, or they use us, but not all the time. Mm-hmm. And then we have our cold leads and our ice cold leads. And so that's how we go down the list. We just hit members first, warms, colds, ice colds. And the script changes, but not very much, honestly. And that's our number one driver. I mean, really, we pull a lot off that. And it's just because, right, especially off like the warm leads that aren't our customers, they haven't gotten a ton of stuff from us before. So now they're starting to see, and they haven't gotten a ton of stuff from us before, because we're a young company. So if you got service from us 3 years ago, we didn't have any of this. It was like me and one other dude running services. Yeah. I'm just going and changing your capacitor. But now it's like there's a sales process that they're getting, and they get to feel some of that. And a lot of that drives new business that we've never seen previously, or they didn't know we do plumbing. And so that's been our main one, as well as we turn on all of our marketing channels. That being said, we try not to over ramp up our marketing channels, just because my belief is that in March, there's only so many amount of those calls that are going to come in, and you could throw $1 million at TikTok and you're not going to get more than the amount of leads that you are going to get anyway at $1,000. Yeah. That's just because it's 60 degrees out. So also the big one I think that people don't do is change your perspective on what you're trying to get. We want foots in doors. That's it. Feet in people's houses to look for opportunity. We're not going always for the home run, right? It's not always water heater change outs. We'd rather get, 100 water heater maintenances, because those will inevitably turn into change outs.
I mean, yeah, I think that's good.
Last one is we also focus on cross sale. I know on the last episode I asked you about cross sale. We just run internal, competitions. Hey, whoever gets the most cross sale wins X, Y, or Z, gets $100 Amazon gift card. Just because, right, we want them searching. The HVAC guys are under the house. They see the plumbing, say something. Yep. Like, don't leave your friends hanging.
One of the things that has been kind of interesting as I've started paying more attention has been, first off, I'm going to give a philosophy and then I'm going to tie into this. Our philosophy on the service board and install board is if it is not full, it is our fault. And that's it. Like, I think that we have been able to grow in a way that a lot of companies have not been able to grow over the past couple of years because our philosophy is like, weather doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
If the board's empty, it's our problem and we have to go do something about it. Whereas I talk to a lot of people and they know there's a problem. They know leads are a problem. I'm in a bunch of peer groups and it's consistently coming up. Like, we just can't get the leads. I got less calls than last year. I just don't know what to do. And it's like, well, what are you doing? And they're just like, like nothing, like yelling at my agency or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
which goes back to like the fact that you can't spend to buy those leads all the time. So, it might not be the agency. It might just be, there's no calls.
Sure.
So you have to find them in other places.
But then what do you do? And I think a lot of people, and I know this was what we used to do 5 years ago, was like, man, we'd call up Scorpion and be like, well, WTF, like, where's all our leads? Like, we're slow. And they would do something a week later and it would have no impact. So Scorpion sucks. So yeah, I think people just don't know what to do, but they also don't take it like fully into their heart that like, hey, this is actually my problem. I need to solve it. And the reason I know that is because if they truly did, if they actually were like, hey, this is completely my problem, they would physically walk out the door and start knocking on doors to get service jobs. Like, they would do something in order to drive leads. And I feel like people just don't do whatever it takes because they haven't fully taken on the ownership of this is my problem.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of the reason that people go out and hire agencies and hire stuff because they don't want to deal with it too. Don't get me wrong. A lot of it's very difficult
deliver
items.
Me the lead.
Yeah.
I'll plummet. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, though, I think like as an owner, that is one of the main responsibilities that you have. That is probably one of the most important responsibilities you have, is ensuring that your team is filled up every day. And if it's not, it should be stressing you out because you've promised families. I mean, we had our Christmas, I think I told the story. We had our Christmas party this year and man, that was a rock on my back. It was a rock this year versus last year. Last year was like 3 people with their wives and it was like, a few people didn't make it. And it was a nice little one table get together. This year was like 17 people and then their families and their kids. And it's like, man, I'm responsible for all of this. And I can't imagine how you feel. There's so many more people that you have that you are responsible for their livelihood, that if I fail, they all fail in the same way that I want, I give them that responsibility. Like, hey, if I drive you these leads, these are your responsibilities so that you don't fail for me. Yeah. It's an extreme ownership thing at the end of the day. I think it comes back on my area that I can really drive is that lead generation.
100%. So I think own it. It's your problem. So that's like our philosophy. Yeah. I think the other thing that's kind of interesting, people seem to stop at like, what's the easy thing? And I'm going to give a very crystal clear example. I was like scrolling Facebook the other day, which does not happen very often. So this was like news to me. So I showed people on my team. I was like, oh my God, can you believe all this? And they're like, yeah, that's how it always is. I'm like, well, pardon me for getting on Facebook once every year. So like, I was just like scrolling and I got served up so many ads from other HVAC contractors. Yep. And I mean, it was well over a dozen. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea. I mean, literally no concept that people were driving this much paid to Facebook. And frankly, it was all terrible. Mm-hmm. It was all like, they must not scroll Facebook and see what everyone else is doing because they're doing exactly what everyone else is doing. And I think my lesson here is, one, don't always go for the easy thing because everyone's already doing the easy thing. That's how LSA became what it was. And 2, if like, look where other people are and try to be where they're not. And if you're going to compete for the same eyeballs, you got to be interesting. Yeah. Like, I can't see the same 10 contractors advertise the same promotion. Like, you're not interesting. It's all the same thing. You just got to do something.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's why we got off Facebook. The key right there is A, we weren't driving any traffic, but B, it's all the same and it's overcrowded. Because at one point it was great, but like, how many times have you personally received a door hanger? And for me, very few in our area. So if I'm going to look at increasing leads, I'm going to go hang door hangers, maybe even knock.
Yeah,
just because
something that was
does
interesting. I had some like high school kid or like college kid or something door hang, like put a hanger on my door at home, and I was blown away. Like, I caught myself, but I'm reading this door hanger and I'm like, okay, yeah, I think I will actually try something here. And cause it solved a bunch of questions for me. Okay. Is he going to take care of me? Yeah. He worked hard enough to put this freaking door hanger on my door. Does he serve my area? 100%. Like, he literally walked up to my door. He serves this area. And then there was a little bit of a, little thing. And like, a few seconds in, I'm like, oh my God, that totally worked. Like, that actually worked. And then we started doing door hangers. And I think the first day we did door hangers, literally the first day, I remember it because this was such a win. We sold a tankless water heater off a freaking door hanger. And it was crazy. And like, again, nobody else was there. Nobody else was doing it, but everyone's on Facebook.
and so it brings up that bigger question too, of like, especially with the social media and online ads, it's there. For me, there's two options. A, you go big straight, like, who's the Austin group? Radiant. And
so that's what we've done. Have you seen any of ours?
I saw your videos. They're great. And that's the point.
They're outlandish. The unhinged is the vibe we're going for.
You have to, because you have to get people to stop what they're doing and recognize brand and recognize you and recognize
they have to be entertained.
And they have to be entertained and informed. But you're not going to stop them if you're not entertaining, and then they're not going to move forward if you don't inform. So you either do that on social media or you get off social media and go do it in person. Go figure out so our slogan at Rapid Response, which we're planning next year to do, is like, nobody's faster. So we sponsor the high school team, and what we're going to do, and we've already got it cleared. We have the person, we have everything ready. We have the forms, the sign-offs. We're going to race at the halftime show at homecoming next year.
Oh, that's funny.
And if you beat us, you get a free furnace, because nobody's faster. So if you're faster, you get one. And so we're going to line up a bunch of people and race our fastest tech. And, it's one of those things where, I don't think anybody's going to beat our fastest tech, because he used to be a wide receiver at LSU. So he's very fast, hopefully still. And, but like something like that, it's so outlandish and gets people. And guess what? On the back end, it collects a ton of phone numbers that we can sell to later, and people remember the experience. So that's the goal, for us at least, is like, hey, how do we go outlandish online, but also how do we create cool experiences offline?
We're going to hit back on driving leads, because I know a bunch of people have like ended up on Facebook. And Ishmael sort of said it when we had him on the show maybe 2 months ago. I was like, hey, social is the new advertising. I think I agree. I think people are just doing it wrong. But then also, what are all the other ways you can spend? Like, are you hooked up to a Modernize? Are you getting leads? Like, what lead aggregators are you using? Are you using mailers? Are you knocking on doors? Are you outbounding? And I think the industry, which like still is crazy to me, because this is 2 years ago now. Like, we've been having LSA problems for 2 years, and this industry still has not figured out like how to adjust from Google, which I'm pretty sure everyone should have figured out in like 2023.
Yeah.
Like, hey, LSA's broke. Great. Figure out how to do something.
And in terms of like direct leads, the optionality has almost gone away. It's gone so much less as well. Like, you have aggregators now. You still have LSA, not as great. You have some LSA strategy you could do that can double or triple it, but still not the boom town it was before. And so where do you go? Branding?
LSA is still such a big winner for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's our second behind Thumbtack now. But like, I've never imagined that an aggregator would beat out LSA.
We had Angie beat out for like ROI,
Mm-hmm.
but like quantity of leads, LSA is still second to none.
Which tells you though, at the same time, like, don't sleep on it. You still keep it running, especially since there's really no downside to running LSA. But man, I'm telling you, I keep coming back to like, I was talking to somebody about through Quick Staffers, and I was on their website, and like for Valentine's Day, they had billboards, and they have people submit like, "I love you, Tracy," to their site, and they run it on their billboard because it's an electronic billboard, and they just cycle through all these. And I mean, how cool is that? And their branding is so good. It's neon pink and neon green. Like, that's their colors of their.
Who is it?
It's Half Moon Plumbing.
Half Moon Plumbing. Thanks for letting me Google you. Owasso. Oh yeah, that is good.
And so,
all right, cool humble brag with the building. Jesus Christ, that's a nice building.
Right.
They must have built that thing like a day ago.
But point being is,
those trucks are definitely unique.
Everything is unique. Everything's eye-catching. And if you're going to go branding, you're going to go Facebook, which is what I consider somewhat branding. It's like it's not a direct lead generation. It's more of a passive lead generation. Like, go big, man. Don't sleep on it. Go big. Even door hangers or mailers, go big. Because I get so many mailers. I just toss them. I tossed 3 this morning when I took out the trash.
Yeah, mailers are tough. I mean, we've had success off and on. We ended up cutting it this year out of the budget. I know it works. Like, we've had it work. I think it really is like nailing down the message and design and like, what's the QR code? What's the whatever? Mm-hmm. But we ended up cutting. We were spending about $22,000 a month on mailers, and we just put it all into TV. Yeah. But TV, there's no immediate lead gen.
Yeah.
But like, we're blessed because we don't need a ton of immediate lead gen. And I would say that we don't need a ton of immediate lead gen because all the different things that we've like talked about so far, we do literally every single day. Like, we actively manage our board. We run LSAs, we run PPC, we run some social, but we do it well. We outbound like crazy. We text like crazy. We email like crazy. Like, we miss occasionally, but it is rare.
Recently, we've been experimenting with lead aggregators, and one of the ones I'm most excited about is a company called Modernize. So what Modernize does is they do direct inbound calls for home improvement. So it's a direct phone call booking, which is way easier to book and has a much higher book rate than an Angie's List or something like that, where you have to sort of recontact them and try to find that customer. Modernize has a direct connection to our call center. So that's been a huge win. It also has some of the services that we've really struggled to get good leads for: water heater replacements, HVAC units, and water damage restoration and water quality. Those ones have been challenging for us to get leads, and Modernize has been a really great partner for us. So make sure you check out modernize.com.
I'm genuinely curious, what did your mailers look like? Because the ones I always get that I just like scream at is it'll say new HVAC unit, 32% off or whatever, 33% off. And I go, that's the worst messaging. If you just have a percentage off, if I'm Betsy White, who is a housewife out in middle America, I don't know how much an HVAC unit costs. I just see 25% off. That doesn't mean anything to me. There's no number there.
Right.
I don't know what I'm actually getting off. So I always look at that and go, someone needs to tell them. But maybe I'm wrong because it's never worked for me.
We've tried both. I don't remember off the top of my head which one worked better, but we basically ran like 14 months of campaigns on mailers. Some were wins, some weren't.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I always have trouble with mailers. And everyone else has to understand that my market is so saturated by the $100 million companies that they're all having to send mailers because they have no more channels that they can lean on. So they send them just because they have marketing money to spend and they have nowhere else to spend it.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, exactly. So we get a lot of mailers.
We keep trying to almost every week we're like having this. It's like, hey, I want to add this other thing. We probably have another $1 million to $1.5 million that we could spend inside our market without like going too wild. Like, we'd have to go a little bit wild, but we wouldn't have to go too wild. I think that's probably the fun part about growth in general. Like, we've thought about this a lot. Like, this is our first year doing like TV and mass advertising, like in a big way. And like, this is our first year. Like, we're in our 20s, right?
Yeah.
Like we're going to hit 30s this year. And this is our first year touching mass media in a big way. So it's like, there's a lot of levers still to pull, which is, I think is like pretty exciting of like, oh my God, yeah, we're actually just getting started. This is crazy.
Have you ever done, what are those, like the ads right behind the toilet spaces or the urinal spaces?
No.
See, that's
no.
what I'm talking about. That gets wild. If you could,
that would be fun.
If you could create a
oh no, sorry. No, we are doing that.
Funny
we
app.
partnered with, we partnered with a local, baseball.
Yeah.
And so our partnership is the bathrooms.
Mm-hmm.
So we get behind, it's 11 bathrooms, I think. And they're like 40-foot walls. So we have a 40-foot sticker going into this bathroom. And dude, it's going to be unhinged. They said as long as it wasn't straight up profane, we could put it on the walls.
Yeah. See,
so
that's the crazy stuff.
We got right up to it. Yeah. We got right up to profane.
What, speaking of partnerships, that was my next question is like, how do you view partnerships in that way? Like I always hear about different people partnering. Hey, I think one of our friends did pizzas. Every pizza you sell, put this flyer on and we'll pay for the box or something. And so they get a free box and you get a free flyer with every pizza. Like, have you ever done anything like that?
No.
Yeah, we haven't either. But I think there's a huge opportunity there.
Yeah, I think there is. I think like if I was starving for leads, it's all sort of like what's easy and what's not. So right now, we haven't capped our channels. Like if anything, like I should have hired probably a while ago. I haven't felt pressure and it's Q1. And I sort of woke up thinking about that this morning about how I got weak. John a year ago would have hired 5 people last month. But I'm weaker than him. So like we actually, our LSAs don't run for a pretty large portion of the day now. Cause we're just like full all the time. So I should have hired more plumbers, but if we were like really running dry on service leads, I would absolutely do something like that. Restaurant partnerships, I would be knocking on doors. I think there's a bunch of different levers you can pull. And I'm going to give people like a rough idea of like the quantity. And I don't even think we're doing that much. If our board is empty on service tomorrow, we have, I think it's like 26. I could be off by 1 or 2, but 26 different things that we do to fill the board. And it's a literal checklist. At this point, it's just a standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
Like one of our, like it's so dialed in that one of our marketing coordinators in the Philippines manages it for us because we're just locked in on this thing. But that's 26. And that's not even including pizza store promotions or anything like that. So we have that many different levers. So like if you add even more out of the box stuff, you'll probably be at 50. So whenever we've been in like pickles for leads, that's usually how we start it is like, okay, I walk in today and there's nothing on the board. What are the 10 things I can do? What are the 20 things I can do to make an impact on today or tomorrow? And we started building that list like over a year ago. And we just add on to it every time we have a new idea. Okay, now we have lead aggregators, which we never used until October. Great, that's a whole brand new tool for us. We added PPC like a year and a half ago.
Well, can you walk, do you mind walking us through some of that? Because I think that's what everybody's yelling at their car stereo right now is like, okay, John, we get it. You have 26, you have 10 levers. Yeah. What are the first 5? You walk in, the board's fucking dead empty. There ain't nothing. No electrical, no plumbing, no HVAC.
Well, so you got to roll through, and I will give examples, but you got to give philosophy first. What will make an impact today versus what will make an impact tomorrow? Because those are 2 totally different things. Definitely. And so that's why we manage our board 3 days out. And I think that's not a John Wilson thing. That's a Nexstar lesson. And we're super grateful that we got that from them. But we manage it 3 days out. So tomorrow has to be 75% full. 2 days from now has to be 50% full. 3 days from now, 25% full. If you are trying to fill today when it's today, that's hard. Because there are only a few things you can do. But if you manage 3 days out at all times, which we've been managing 3 days out for like a year and a half now, you can get on top of it. Because then you're like, today it's Wednesday. I'm thinking about Friday. I'm thinking about Saturday. in order to get our leads. And today, tomorrow is probably going to be taken care of because we've been proactive.
Yeah, you're helping out your tomorrow self, which makes sense because the answer, part of the answer,
you can get ahead of it.
You can
get ahead of this.
You can't walk in with 15 employees and an empty board and fill that entire board. It'd be very, very, very difficult.
It's challenging.
But if you
now, sometimes we do miss, and we do walk in on a day where HVAC's got half of what it should. So sometimes that happens. Not very often anymore, but sometimes it does. So what we did is we made this list. Again, I'm going to give examples, but we're trying to cover philosophy. We made a list of like, here are the things that I can make an impact in less than 24 hours. Mm-hmm. And here are the things that I can make an impact from 24 to 48 hours, 48 to 72, and 72 and beyond. And the reason that that's important is because if my board's empty, I can't go launch a Facebook ad at 9 a.m. and expect results by noon. Yeah. Now, I could expect results in 2 days, but not by noon. So that's why you got to separate it out by like level of urgency. So we have it code red, yellow, green. Mm-hmm. So green is like, we have multiple days to worry about this. Red is, I am totally empty. So for red, we turn on or up all the LSA budgets. That one's pretty easy. We turn on or up all the budgets for all of our lead aggregators. Angie's, Thumbtack, Modernize, all that stuff. We outbound. Outbound really is number one because outbound is the fastest possible way to fill your board. Just calling people, you will fill the board. So when we actually don't consider anymore, we don't consider day of board filling to be marketing's problem. We fully consider that to be call center's problem because they can fill it the fastest. Definitely. With just calling. Yeah. Texting out. And the reason that's different is because often with depending on your software provider, we used to have a software provider where if I created a text, it wouldn't send until the next day. So you had to have a 24-hour log, which was really painful for us because like, hey, the board's empty today. I don't need calls tomorrow. I need calls today. Yeah. I did need them tomorrow too, but that's not the point. Literally knocking on doors. We had HVAC techs sitting last spring, and we ordered door hangers at 8:30 in the morning, picked him up at 9 o'clock, and he was walking doors at 10. And that's the day we sold a tankless water heater. So those are immediate impacts. Rehash, calling your old quotes. That's something you can get on the board today. Sell service jobs. So those are probably the most important. Highly tactical, very high touch. And I think that's the reason people don't do it is they take a ton of energy. Like none of those that I just described are like, go put an ad on Facebook and spend $5 a day. Like, no, you have to go fucking do something. And
it's something uncomfortable in most spaces too. Like posting an ad on Facebook, not uncomfortable. You post, you don't know if you even got anything right.
That's why everybody does it. You take a picture.
Yeah.
You put some words. Hey, we got some stuff. And then, you and everybody and their brothers doing the same thing. But who's knocking on doors? Who's outbound calling? Yeah. Because
outbound calling, there's a lot of rejection, it can be rough.
Yeah. So, well, and even more importantly is like, you have to build a culture in your company that outbound calling is like, no, this is what we do. This is just like a part of what we do. And that is hard because if your CSRs are not used to outbounding, they probably just won't. Like they might call 10 people a day when they should be calling 100.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah.
So
completely on
outbounding is, so that's like the first, hey, I need to fill it today. It is very high touch, high energy. This is going to be a lift to get this off the ground marketing effort. It's guerrilla marketing. Like it's hard, but it is how you make an impact today.
I have a question for you, John. So there's a few people who I talk to through the podcast and everything, and they bought a company, $1 million company, $2 million company, no list. Ouch. Day one.
Yeah.
No list because the owner had it all in his phone or some other dumb thing that they did. Lost all the numbers. Have you ever bought a list?
Sure. Hell yeah. We've done it. We did this last October through December.
Did it work?
Hell yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go do that.
Just pick up your phone. Call people.
Just call.
It's so aggravating. It's so aggravating when people complain about leads. Because I'm like, everybody's got this issue, dog.
Yeah.
And we're figuring it out. I don't think I'm anything special here. Like, it takes a ton of work. Like, this takes a lot of hard freaking work. But board's full.
Mm-hmm. People are working. I mean, the backside, which we've talked about before too, though, is like, do you put the cart before the horse, in your opinion? Because if you have a bunch of leads, you're going out, or you have no leads, you're going out there, you're hustling, and your guys aren't sales trained. They don't have the right processes in place. And then you feel like you're spinning your wheels, getting calls on the board. You're paying for calls, and they're not closing. No closes. No.
Yeah.
I think it's
that's tough,
a different.
But you can't optimize. It's like you can't fix the close until your guys have reps.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have something to close. You got to have something to improve on.
Yeah.
So like we see fixing the close and closing rate as a downstream of our marketing and call center teams are effective enough to fill that board every day. And because we trust them to do that, we can coach.
That was my, you answered the question. That was what I was looking for. So it was a downstream or upstream. And, I mean, somewhat simultaneous, but yeah, because I know that was a big question when I started, and it was, hey, just feel like I'm wasting these dang calls, man. We're giving them the calls, and nothing's happening. Now I'm spending money to have them running around all day, wasting gas and not selling anything. But you're right. Like, you can't fix that if they don't have an opportunity to have that experience and to be teachable.
So service boards are fully your problem. It sucks, and fixing it takes a ton of work. But you build a process, you list out all the different things, ideally by like time frame. I can do this, and it will make it. If I started at 8 a.m., I could put a call on the board today. If I started at 8 a.m. today, I can put calls on tomorrow. And if I started at 8 a.m., I can put calls on the board two days from now. So you list it out, and you make it a process. Hey, if we're empty today, here's what happens. The 3-day call board from Nexstar has been an awesome tool for us. Again, that's just like we manage 3 days at a time. Tomorrow is going to be 75% full. Day after that's 50% full. Day after that's 25% full. And that reduces the crises that you face because we're always looking 2 or 3 days out. And then what we've also done is we've created accountability behind that. I don't think we said that, but like our marketing team posts in the whole company channels, like, hey, here's the call board for the day. And we do that 3 times a day. So they're like, here's the results we produced. We kept you guys busy or we didn't. And it'll just say what code we're in. Hey, we're in code red for electrical service. Here's what we're doing to fix that. So we make them report to the whole company. Man,
that is something. I'm jealous, but at the same time, I know how long it took to build that muscle. Because that's what it is, man. It's a muscle. If you go, and here's the part that we didn't speak about. What is something that people do when their call board's not full and they feel guilty? And so what do, John?
Oh my
God.
They
do something else.
People do shop work.
Shop work, that's one of them. Shop work's terrible. Waste money.
It drives me nuts.
Because you're not working that muscle.
It just drives me nuts.
The other one?
Well, you're not actually figuring out how to build a business. Mm-hmm. It's like the easiest, stupidest button in the world. And I know that I'm being harsh, but like, you people need this reality check. This is a dumb idea. What you need to do is figure out how to actually run a fucking business and drive demand.
And then the second...
All right, I'm off my soapbox.
The second... I knew I was going to get you
with
that
They better
one.
not edit the fucking out of there.
The second one, which will also might get you riled up, is don't... I'm not going to say don't. I'm just going to say be careful when you start working different muscles. And that muscle being, oh, I don't have any service work. I'm a service company. But hey, look at that shiny new construction over there.
New construction.
It's March, and there's some new construction that we could do.
Oh my God, it makes me squirm. Yeah, that's like me being like, hey, I'm a Ford dealer, and I didn't sell enough cars this month. So instead, I'm going to build a plant and start manufacturing Ford vehicles instead. Like, that's the level of stupid that I see that comment as.
If John's hurting your feelings right now, it's okay, because
I'm right. I don't care.
I have also done this. I have said, oh, look at, and my team is all coming to me, Jack, we can go get new construction contracts. Let's go do it. I know somebody. And I said, okay, sure, but you're managing it. You know who ended up managing it? Me. You know who didn't get paid?
You know who ended up losing all the money?
You know who lost money? Me. And so I learned my lesson very quickly that John is correct in this, as much as it hurts my heart, that unless you have the infrastructure to run a separate new construction business, it's not a shiny object. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's a totally different thing.
See what happens.
Yeah, my best analogy really is are you a Ford manufacturer or are you the Ford dealer? Like, I'm Bob's Auto Repair Service. I'm not Ford. So just pick your lane here. I'm not going to build the thing, but I will fix it.
Unless you're Tesla and like that was from the beginning. Hey, you did both.
But but none of us are publicly traded plumbing companies.
Awesome. Well, this was great. I think I'm leaving with some ideas.
Some tidbits. Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
All right, man.
We've got our workshop coming up in April. Make sure you check out ownedandoperated.com. Click on the workshop button. We also have Owned and Operated Pro, which is coming out, which should be fun. It's like a peer group. So that should be cool. I think that button's also on the website. And then, if you like what you heard, give us 5 stars wherever it is that you listen to podcasts.
Sweet. Thanks, everyone.
Sweet.